The LGBT community has existed for years and often falls under the radar when it comes to the oppression they face on a daily basis. In recent years, gay rights have seen much more media attention as the fight for equality continues on into the present day. Most are easily able to recall the historic decision made by the Supreme Court in June of 2015 that allows for same-sex marriage throughout the entirety of the United States of America. Today, some same-sex couples are still fighting for a right that they, according to the law, won almost an entire year ago. Laws exist, mainly in the Deep South, that aim to discriminate against their rights the LGBT community has fought so passionately for. These laws, publicized by the media as no promo homo laws, have recently received a large amount of media attention in Alabama. These laws directly limit the rights that the gay community have finally been granted over decades of struggle. In order to understand what it is the gay community is fighting for, as well as how far they have come, it is important to understand how the political agenda for gay rights has changed since the origin of now infamous rainbow-colored flag. The first place to look when reflecting on the modern-day battle of the LGBT community is in the 1970s. It is obvious that in the present day we are more accepting of the LGBT community than ever before. However, it is not always obvious how far we have come as an accepting society. In the 18 years between 1973 and 1991, a study known as the General Social Survey shows the percentage of adults in the United States that believe a same-sex relationship is always wrong had very little change, peaking in the year 1988 and 1991 with 77%. This does not mean that these adults do not believe that gay couples should have the right to marry. This means that these adults believe gay couples should not exist at all. In an updated version of the same study showing the statistics for 2014, the percentage dropped by over 30% from its peak, down to a mere 40% in 2014. It may be hard for our generation to grasp this concept because of how accepting the majority of us are raised to be. And so the seemingly unreal statistic begs one question: why? One of the major arguments against same-sex relationships is in the defense of children being raised by a gay couple. In the early 1980s, studies seemed to support this defense. The studies that were taken in the earlier 80s showed that homosexual couples were more likely to break up than heterosexual couples were. The argument typically stated that a child being raised by a homosexual couple is in more danger of growing up in a divided household, and that simply would not be fair for the child in question. A survey performed by Gary J. Gates in the 1990s, however, showed that it was less likely for a homosexual couple to be in a cohabiting relationship than heterosexual couples. It is clear to see that something must have changed in society somewhere between the first and second study. One of the major changes in between these decades is in gay politics. When the LGBT community first banded together, their unity was, ironically, built off of separation. If the individual members of this society had nothing else in common, they all knew what it felt like to be disregarded by society as well as unacceptable. As time moved on, however, they realized that the only way to truly progress in society is to be both accepting and accepted. This means that, although they had not been treated fairly, they should attempt to make everyone around them feel as welcome as possible. In a sense, they attempted to show our society that they were gay, but they were still normal, hard-working Americans. Although it took a long time for this concept to catch on, and for Americans as a whole to become more accepting of the LGBT community, it is clear simply by looking at the statistics that this view on gay politics has had a large effect. As studies move closer to the modern day, one can also see that children are coming out of the closet at a much earlier age, and that there are less hate crimes against the gay community as a whole, showing that change is occurring. Unfortunately, not all are accepting of the gay community as one may think is right in an accepting and tolerable society. In the Deep South, laws exist to purposely limit the rights of the LGBT community as fought for. Laws that the media enjoys labeling as no pro, no homo laws. Specifically, we will look at Alabama and the discrimination that the gay community sees there on a daily basis. The historic decision to allow homosexual marriage that was passed by the Supreme Court of the United States in June 2015 is an event that is hard to forget. The day the decision was made, the media had a field day, while on social media, Facebook posts linking to articles and Twitter tweets boasting the hashtag #LoveWins were everywhere. However, the Supreme Court of Alabama appears to have forgotten this day, as they are no longer issuing marriage licenses to gay couples. In layman terms, the government of Alabama found a loophole in their own laws regarding marriage that allows them to choose who they do and do not want to distribute marriage licenses to. Though some individual judges in Alabama are fighting for the LGBT community by distributing marriage licenses despite a direct order not to, the majority continue to choose who has the right to become legally married. According to my social ethics, this is wrong on the part of the government of Alabama. In my good society, I have a concept I call freedom. And what it means to be free in my society is to be able to pursue happiness in whatever shape or form one may conceive it as, so long as by doing so, one does not directly inhibit another from doing the same. However, when it comes to my definition of freedom, neither party can be seen as either right or wrong. The reason why is simple to see from the side of the gay community. They want to be seen as equal in the eyes of the law and are not allowed to be. However, after thoroughly thinking about what the government officials of Alabama are thinking when they discriminate so blatantly, I can see that they are also just trying to apply my concept of freedom to a society they believe to be fair and just. By allowing LGBT individuals to marry, they or others may feel that their freedom is infringed on because of their definition of happiness aligning with their religious or personal belief that only straight couples should be allowed to marry. Another concept that my society is based off of that can be applied here is the concept of tolerance. Put briefly, my definition of tolerance is the process of eliminating what some may call subspecies of humans. This means dividing lines that discriminate against people by race or gender, and in this specific case, sexual orientation. When applying this concept combined with my concept of freedom, it is clear to see that something needs to change on the side of the government of Alabama. But what is not so clear is what needs to change. Put into a few words, my society cannot give a simple solution to this problem without discriminating against either group, applying my concept of freedom. However, the idea of tolerance states that the LGBT community is right, and so they should be given the right to marry according to my society. The best solution, according to my society, is to allow homosexual marriage. But because of the gray area that the two ideas of freedom and tolerance meet at in my society, this is by no means a perfect solution.